Diane Madden, Hempstead. I wanted to start by talking about I was going to say behaviorist, but the union secretary and treasurer that you hired to represent herself as a behaviorist. The animals are still sitting for weeks on end, 20, but I counted just this morning without evaluation. She is being trained by Nick Durant, who has no qualifications and was the problem in the first place, and why I mentioned at our first meeting that you needed a behaviorist that was qualified. Michael Pistori has directed a $40,000 kennel person who's actually getting paid as a secretary, by the way. He's instructed her to teach the behaviorist how to evaluate cats. Now, I can't even blame the behaviorist because she stated on her own personal resume objective that she wanted this job so she could gain knowledge in animal behavior. So the taxpayers are paying $109,000 a year to a union secretary that wants to be a behaviorist. And all of you passed that resolution. On a side note, the other person that your 5 town officials having no background in animal behavior, no background in animal sheltering, that Santino put on his expert interview committee, and they turned away the best behaviorist on Long Island. Charlene Sorrentino was just hired at Smithtown Government Animal Shelter because they're eager to fix things, unlike Hempstead. They don't cover up, they're fixing their problems. They hired her at the rate of $50,000 contract a year for a 30-hour work week. You hired the behaviorist for 35 hours a week for $109,000 that has no skills. And our animals are still sitting and spinning. I took videos. I'm going to ask you, Mr. White, how I can start playing some of these videos as the audit proceeds and as lawsuits proceed. And by the way, you guys are about to get hit. There are 3 more lawsuits headed towards the animal shelter and town officials for discrimination, for harassment. And speaking of harassment, you had the volunteer coordinator sitting in an office somewhere for 2.5 hours now, probably waiting to be further harassed by another Merino. By the way, on February 18th, I sat in on a cat socializing class. Dolores Stormer had foolishly given permission to a volunteer by the name of Rachel Rickman, permission to advertise an event to enlist volunteers. That same volunteer secretly recorded Ms. Stormo and all of her sessions. Ms. Stormo was very upset, visibly upset by this. So that started the ball rolling to public safety and the Nassau County Police. And Jerry Marino coming to the animal shelter in his pajamas, but just in enough time to finish off Dolores Stormo, who left, it was made to leave early, and had a car crash involving an 8-month pregnant woman who, thank God, was not killed in this car accident. You guys are an embarrassment, and all of you should be voted out. And that is going to be my goal, because sitting here after being banned in 2010 makes me realize what's going on at that animal shelter is going on in every department. The abuse of power, the bullying, the discrimination, the harassment. And we're at the point where so many employees across town of Hempstead are seeking me out to say, they used to be intimidated and afraid to vote for anyone other than a Republican candidate, but they say their jobs are all at risk under Santino, and they're going to do something different. And I encourage them to do that. And I wanted to let you know, Supervisor, that you make Kate Murray look like Dr. Doolittle. At the time when the shelter was at its worst. She came out with a pet care agenda. You've come out with a pet recessive agenda.
Lucille DeFina, please.
Instead of covering up everything and hiring outside counsel to stop and store and audit,
Please come to the,
you should start fixing things, because the audit's gonna happen.
call the next speaker. Thank you very much.
It's okay, it's just my pleasure to continue where Diane leaves off, because how you can continue to let this happen, at this point it would be almost amusing if it didn't entail having our poor animals in the middle of all the real animals that you have working at the animal shelter. That place is a joke, and you continue to leave a man in charge who has caused this division, which I don't believe he could do without your backing. So he has caused this battlefield of people going behind each other's back and backstabbing and abusing animals and covering it and hiding it, and vets who kill animals and don't want to be responsible and they're passing the buck. It is just amazing what has gone on there just within this last month. And I've stopped, I don't know if you've noticed, I've stopped coming up with my folder of complaints and letters and people who want you to know, because we now know that you already know. And you not only know, you are the reason this is happening. You are the cause, you are allowing this, and you are supporting this. So it continues, and I will keep getting those letters and complaints, but this time we will take it to people who really care and who want to do something about it. And as far as your director, it's his little island is getting smaller and smaller and smaller. Everyone hates him.
That's right.
You know, so he has very few people in his corner. Maybe he still has the bevets who are in his corner, and that's why she can kick a dog and beat a dog and just get a little demotion, which probably doesn't affect her salary or anything at all. Let's face it, she has gone under the radar since 2010 when she made her debut in a video, and she continues to stay there and get a beautiful salary, her and her husband and 2 company cars. How long is this administration going to protect her? So these are the buddies of Mike Pastore and the vet who helps him hide the killing. So, and you have Nick Doran's who abuses animals and mistreats them, and everybody's watching. Everybody sees this every single day. We all know it. And I know you're trying hard to keep everybody out of the shelter. You're making sure they don't get in. Again, you're spending thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars to make sure that an audit can't come in those doors. And you're trying to clean up the shelter, but you can't clean it fast enough. And it's already been done already. It's already been recorded. It's already been witnessed. Just like your internal investigation, you could put it all in the garbage, because it's not going to matter.